Hello guys, Vizarish here. For today we have a different kind of video. This is a thing I wanted to do for a while now. I'm using the tier maker website to determine the value of the Dark Elves units, and I chose Dark Elves as the first faction because I played them the most. I think 60 or 70% of my quick matches are with Dark Elves. I love these guys. I was waiting for them even before the Warhammer 2 released, and so yeah. Let me just explain how I'm doing the ranking thing. There are three factors in ranking the units, and those are, first of all, how does the unit type work in the meta. So if a unit can be S tier compared to other units in the other factions, but if the unit type is weak in overall meta and there are a lot of counters to them, yeah, so he's gonna lose some rank. The second factor is that how the unit does in the compared to other units that are similar to it. I mean, if I want to give an example, is that Harganet Executioners are for sure S tier. They have decent stats, they have armor, they have anti-large weapon strength, charge bonus, and they also have immune to psychology. So that makes them really good in the halberd units tiers. They're one of the best, but overall the halberd units have some general weaknesses. First of all, they're slow, they attack slowly, they can't keep up with faster units, but overall, yeah, they're still good. They're S tier, but I'm not gonna give them S because the meta part of the deal is gonna reduce their overall points and overall usability. The third part is that I'm gonna rank them in the basis of how useful are they in their own roster. So the three factors were the meta compared to other similar units in other rosters and in their own rosters. A unit can be really good, but in their own faction they can be redundant, they can be weak. So yeah, there might be other and better choices for them. And just keep in mind, these are my opinions. I have some biases, so it for sure is gonna factor into the final result. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So without further ado, let's just start the video and see how Dark Elf units do. I've sorted the units based on their overall and general uses. The first category are the melee units, the second range, cav, and the chariots and skirmish units, monsters, range monsters, artillery and stuff, and then we go into regiments of renown, heroes and lords. So yeah, first of all, bleak swords. So these guys are really good units. If you guys have seen the Zerkovich's video he has done on the lower tier infantry, these guys rank high up. They're fifth or fourth unit. They're cheap, they have silver shields, they have 90 models, and yeah, they're in a good faction that works for them. I'm gonna put them in A tier. You usually see them in most matchups because they're practically chaff, and they're good at what they do. The second unit, we have the dread spears. So these guys are in most part similar to bleak swords, but because of the anti-large and higher melee defense, I'm gonna put them over the bleak swords. That's usually what you see. These guys usually get picked over bleak swords because as chaff, you just want them to hold the line. Against factions with weaker chaff, you pick the bleak swords if you wanna rush and not worrying about large units, or if you have other counters. So yeah, both of them A tier for sure. The next unit, Blackhawk Corsair. These guys used to be really strong. They used to cost 600 gold, and I remember that these guys used to get spammed, and people in the community used to say that they're a little bit OP. So they got 50 gold price nerf. They I think their stats got nerfed a bit, but in the latest patches they got some minor buffs. They're okay. I usually pick them if I want to clear chaff. They're good against many units. They trade upward against low armored infantry if they don't have decent armor piercing. So B in a okay tier is decent place for them. So now witch elves. I love these girls. They're really awesome. They have really high melee attack, really high weapon strength. The madness of Cain is awesome, but overall they have too many weaknesses. So that stops them from moving into higher tiers of these list. They're susceptible to charge from cav, from range attacks. They get melted. The magic destroys them. Some of the magics in an AoE just clean one of the units of your army if they're witch elves. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them in mid to lower B. So the leftmost units are the better ones, the right ones are the worst ones. So yeah, if they're in the left of the left of these groups, they're better, and right, they're worse. So yeah, they're B tier, mid to lower B tier, still decent. They're really good against factions with slow cav and monsters. They can catch them and slow them, and the poison just rampages them and helps you deal with the unit with other parts of your army. So Sisters of Slaughter, they used to be S tier for sure. They had 35% missile resistance. So one of the weaknesses that witch elves had was not applicable to these guys. They had really huge melee defense. They still have, it used to be 60 if I'm not mistaken. They have poison. They had really strong holding capabilities, and they could have cleared chaff units. But they received a lot of nerfs. First of all, their stats got nerfed, the missile resistance got nerfed, but they still have their uses. The C tier, let me just, yeah, I didn't do the S tier, is the units that you usually see in all of your Dark Elf army, or you should see them if you're going for a competitive build. They're usually better than rest of the army. Yeah, there are not many better choices than them, so, and yeah, you can get their value back. The A tier are good. They can get their value back easily. They're you usually see them in most matchups. The B tier are the okay units. They don't do anything really special. They're just there, and yeah, that's that. They're okay. The C tier are the bad units, the ones that have niche uses, but in most situations they're not good. And the D are the worst, that you can always find a better units in the army and can pick that you can pick. So I'm gonna put the Sisters in the bad category, and there are some reasons for that. These guys shine in dwarf matchup and in empire matchup, and overall they're really good against factions that can't kill low armor units really easily. and they can't use magic, they can use range, but most of the factions right now have those abilities. I'm gonna sip some water between the I don't know, deciding which tier I put this guy, so sorry for that in advance. So yeah, I think they cost too much for what they do. They have bug animation, their models, some of them in charge, jump into the back line of the enemy, and yeah, they get surrounded by the enemy unit, and their high melee defense doesn't matter that much because attacks from rear and flank gets flat percentage removal. So yeah, but overall they have their uses, but you don't see them very often, and yeah, that's that. She's there on the C tier. Harganet Executioners. So overall the high tier infantry don't see play that much in the current meta, and it's because there are many threats to them. There are many cheaper ways to deal with them in the opponent army. Usually the chariots, the range attacks, armor piercing units, breath attacks, magic, so a lot of ways to deal with them. So overall the higher tier units don't get high places in this tier list, but they're decent, they're okay. There are some uses for them. I think against factions like Lizardmen, they can do some stuff if you pick your army correctly. So yeah, there for sure are lower B tier, maybe even higher C tier, but yeah, I like this guy, so I'm just gonna put them there. They do need some help though, because yeah, as I said, they're one of the best anti-infantry units in all the game, but yeah, overall the meta is not favorable to them. So yeah, they're lower B tier for sure. One of the greatest units in the Dark Elf roster are the Blackguards, and it's because these guys have high armor. They, as I said in the start of the video, they have immune to psychology. They have a lot of HP compared to other units in the Dark Elf faction. Dark Elf faction are overall a squishy faction, so they're really good for sure. But as I said, they're in a meta that is really oppressive against the higher tier infantry. So even though I think they're S tier in the halberd units overall in game, they still can't go over maybe mid tier A. It breaks my heart to put them before the Bleak Swords and Dread Spears. So yeah, they're A tier. Even in this meta, they're really good against cav, against large monsters. So I'm just gonna put them in A. Yeah, little bias going on here, but what can I say? Love these guys. They look cool. They do stuff. They're not that bad. So yeah, really awesome. So we're done with infantry here. Let's jump into the range units. So let's go for the dark shards here. These guys have been receiving buffs in the last few patches. They have heavy armor piercing damage. They're decent if your army is built around them, but I don't think they go over B. They're middle in the B tier for sure, and yeah, they're good. I think I would put them here maybe. Yeah, I think that I prefer them over the executioners, but they tie with witch elves. Witch elves can do so much. I mean, yeah, they're great. The dark shard with silver shield is a better one in my opinion, even though it's a bit more expensive, but overall they gain some stats which doesn't matter. I think they gain melee defense. The range doesn't change, but the weapons missile strength doesn't change. but the shield does matter a lot because these guys have really short range. So the I think they're B tier, lower to mid B tier for sure. Yeah. So we have the Black Hawk Corsairs with handbows. These guys, I love them, but I don't know, maybe they were overperforming or something, because at the start of the game they received some nerfs. They accuracy got decreased, their munition quantity got reduced as well. They received some buffs in the latest patches. I don't remember what, but yeah, I think they should be here, maybe even before the executioners. Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna put them here. The place is interchangeable. They can get some value. There are some matchups that these guys are really needed. If like for example, the Norska and Greenskins both have units that deal heavy. They have heavy weapon strength, but they have 0 armor. So if you bring the armor piercing variant units, range units, the armor piercing part of their damage doesn't go through when the unit has 0 armor. So yeah, the armor piercing part is done. It doesn't matter. And the regular weapon missile strength is so low that it doesn't matter. So these guys have a niche. These guys have a place in Dark Elf army. Yeah, if Greenskins receive some much needed nerfs to their overperforming units, I think these guys can shine, or maybe even if they get some of their range abilities back, that might work as well. But yeah, I do think they're in need of some help also, but they're okay. They're not that bad. They have some uses. So Shades, the high tier hybrid units in the Dark Elf roster, they're for sure, I would put them over the Black Hawk Corsair with handbows, and that's because they have stock, they have melee, they have decent melee stats, and their missile weapon strength, missile strength is really high. They can get close, they can focus fire something, and they're decent in melee. Even though they're not really great, they do fine, especially the other variants. I'm gonna let the price dictate how I place these guys, because I think the 100 gold for getting a bit more stat, and at the latest stage armor piercing does put them in a worse place than the regular kind, because gold is really important how you build your army. So yeah, even though I love the great sword variants, if you pick them against factions that are really sturdy, after they use all of their ammo, they can really shine. But that doesn't happen. The games usually last from 3 to 6 minutes, usually in my case. So yeah, I like these guys, but I think they're just okay. They're nothing special. So now into the Cav variants, which Dark Elf have some strengths. The Dark Riders without any shield, I like these guys. They're really good. I think for sure they're higher B tier because they're cheap, they're really fast. I might even put them in lower A because they do so much in Dark Elf roster. The shielded variant is better because it has melee defense and a bronze shield, which helps these guys a lot. Yeah, if you use them well, they can do so much, but you don't pick many of them in the Dark Elf army, as their stats is not that high. You have to rely on their charge bonus in most cases. So yeah, I think they're lower A or higher B usually. Yeah, that's a good place. Now onto the cold ones. I think these guys are really important in Dark Elf roster. the only reliable cav that you can spam, because they're cheap. They have armor piercing, they have anti-large, decent armor, bronze shield, so they have it all, right? But they have lower model, and the HP is kind of low, so they're susceptible to everything cav units are susceptible. Their charge bonus is not that high, so yeah, they always need support. But for sure I'm gonna put them in a A tier, even over Blackguards. I think overall Blackguards are better units, but because of the meta and how the cav is really important, mobility and cav, in my opinion these guys go over Blackguards. If the infantry was more important, or these guys didn't cost so much, I would have put them over the Cold Bone Knights, even maybe in S tier. So yeah, now to the Warlocks. These guys look awesome. They have so much utility. They have poison, they have magic damage, and they have bounded spells, which is an important part of their lore and utility. But when they got released, they were S tier for sure. Much like Sisters of Slaughter, they they shine. Their cost was 1,000. Now it's 1,200. Their spells got nerfed. They used to have Doombolt, regular kind Doombolt, but now it's a lesser variant. The other spell is good, reduces armor, increases their damage, DPS. But with the nerfs they got, the price nerfs that they got, and the HP nerf that they got, their spells got nerfed. So overall they just received nerfs, and I don't think they're in a good place. They still have some uses. I picked them against Beastmen and some other factions. I'm not sure. Skaven, yeah, they can do well against Skaven as well. But yeah, as I said, they're too expensive. It takes a lot of micro to make use of them. And yeah, I'm just gonna put them in the bad tier before, after or before? Yeah, after Sisters of Slaughter. So yeah, the Sisters, I think they perform better usually. The Dread one, the Cold One Dread Knights, another awesome unit that's really unique. They're really similar to Questing Knights, but the difference in performance is obvious. Those guys are 200 gold cheaper. They're a bit faster. They have their formation that makes them charge better. They're in a cav-centric faction, so it's understandable. But yeah, these guys, even though they got some buffs in the last few patches, the latest one with their HP was the most important, but still they don't get used. I think they might be good against High Elves because High Elves don't have a lot of armor piercing, anti-large. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them in a bad tier. They're after these two, even though I love them. Yeah, I don't think they're good, unfortunately. I'm not sure how you can help them. Maybe I don't think CA goes back on their nerfs and buffs, but I do think they're not good. But there's a solution for that. I just remembered. If Dark Elves had access to healing, some kind of healing, I don't know, Lore of Life, or maybe the Cauldrons of Blood could heal, these guys would for sure go up a tier, or I'm not sure how much, but the healing would make these guys much better. If you can save them from dying, they can do much more. They can actually use their stats, but right now, yeah, they're bad, unfortunately. So I think we have our first S tier unit here, Dark Riders with repeater crossbow. If you've seen my Dark Elf game, I usually pick 2 or 3 of these guys. They're like the Dark Shaws, but better in every regard. I mean, the stats doesn't matter in range category in most cases, but they have higher charge bonus, so you can use them in melee. They have lower range, but that doesn't matter if they're twice as fast, even more than twice. And yeah, they can reposition, they can fire fast. Their damage might be lower, but usually I get a lot of value from these guys. Their mobility is the key, and yeah, it covers a lot of weaknesses that dark shards have. So yeah, S tier for sure, at least for me. And we're in a meta that values skirmish units a lot, so for sure they're one of the best in my opinion. Scourge or Chariot. So this unit was so good that even I might admit that they were a bit too good. They have anti-large, they have anti-infantry, they're fast, and they have armor piercing on their range. So everything about these guys was awesome. They received a lot of nerfs. They received nerfs to their mass, to their what's the other thing, mass and HP, and I think they got some nerfs to their accuracy or to their ammo as well. I'm not sure, to their anti-infantry, but they're still good. They're still one of the units that you usually see. And as I said, this is a skirmish meta right now in game, so that puts them even higher. Their value is for sure in A tier. They're one of the most important units in Dark Elves, even though they're kind of janky, and I would never put them over the Dark Riders with repeater cards, but because these guys give you accuracy and precision and control. These guys don't. I mean, if you leave them in auto fire, they shoot their arrows to the ground most of the time, and yeah, I usually turn their auto fire off and use them like Dark Riders, more like Dark Riders. I think that's much better. Yeah, they're a good chariot, they're fast, they have everything, so A tier for sure, but I'm not sure I would put them over Cold One Knights. Yeah, I usually pick at least one Cold One Knight, but not always I would pick them in every army. So maybe this looks fine. I mean, overall, Blackguards are can be better if the meta was different, but right now I think they're the A tier for sure. Oh god, this is so hard. So yeah, A tier, higher A tier for sure. Now we have Cold One Chariots. So overall, in let's go through our three category for this unit. In Chariots, I don't think they're good. The range attacks that they have are awesome. I love the dark shards that are in the Chariots and shoot their high missile strength armor piercing bolts. But overall, Cold One Chariots are a bit bad, and there are some reasons for that. First of all, they're too long, so even lords and heroes behind them can get their clean attacks over them. They don't attack consistently. I mean, horses do bite better than that, horses and chariots. And yeah, I think the latest nerfs that they got, the 100 gold increase to their price, and they have really low melee defense. Their mass is not that higher than other chariots, and so yeah, they're not that good overall in chariot category. There are other chariots that are really good, like White Lions. They have high missile resistance, they're faster, they have everything these guys have minus the range attack, but I put them way over these guys. And in Dark Elf roster you have Scourge and Chariots, and I only picked them in dwarf matchup currently, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna put them in bad, and yeah, the worst of these guys for now. And what else? Yeah, they're good chariots compared to this. They're not even comparable. They have some buggy animations. They don't do anything. You don't have heal, so C is good. Yeah, here is good. So harpies. I love this unit in Dark roster or in overall, because they do so much. they can do so much, but they have some weaknesses that are really apparent. First of all, I don't think their speed is that high. Their speed is one of their weaknesses. I think it's between 80 or 90, I'm not sure, but that's slow. What I want them to do in Darker Froster is that big fast. I don't even want them to hit that hard. I just want them to catch something. One of the reasons that Dark Elf versus Wood Elf matchup is really hard is because the Dark Elves doesn't have any heavy cav that can survive the salvo of the arrows that Wood Elves can shoot at you, and they can't catch and the Harpies can't catch anything you want them to. I mean, if they can catch I don't know, range units faster or bog them down while other units catch up to them, that's great. I mean, if you have seen the latest Warhammer 3, not the latest, in the previous one, the one that shows the corn centric units, they have Furies, right? Furies have 110 speed, they have higher weapons range, so that's what I want Harpies to be. But unfortunately they're not, but they're not that bad. They have the uses against vampire counts, vampire coast, dwarfs, against gyros. They're really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them in okay tier, lower tier. Maybe they're between B and C, but yeah, B is fine, I think. So we have another A tier unit. These guys, feral manticores, are cheap. Their weapon strength is high. They have decent charge bonus. They cover a weakness that Dark Elves have. It is a really good support unit for your army, but it is susceptible. I remember playing a game against vampire counts, and my opponent, with his vampire lord, Von Karsten vampire lord, just used this ability on this spirit leeches and stuff. So they rampaged and charged down to the calves that my opponent was keeping under them, and that's how they killed them. But overall, they're really good. They can kill models and characters really good. They're really good at support. They have terror. They're decently fast. So yeah, I'm happy with them, and I think they're really important in Darker Froster. So for sure, A tier. Yeah, I would put them over these guys. So Hydras, one of the best looking units, one of the awesomest in regard to theme and animations, the Hydras. So I'm gonna put them here and talk about it a bit. These guys, I don't know, they were never good. I don't remember that a time in the Warhammer 2 life cycle that these guys were I don't remember them shining ever. They have a lot of stuff that's really good. They have two kind of healing. They have regen and a brass heal that they usually get, but they have some weaknesses. First of all, in Darker Froster, they're kind of slow. I mean, they have 46 speed or 50, I'm not sure, 46 to 50 speed. So they're really slow. Their melee defense is really low, and adding the low leadership of that to that melee defense is just brutal. These guys can get routed even before they can get half of their value back. Their cost, I'm not gonna say they're too high, but it's kind of high for what Hydra can do in Darker Froster. The breath is just awesome. It doesn't have fire attacks, just the breath does fire damage. So I'm not sure, even though I would love to put them in higher tier, I think they're lower B. Their speed, their leadership, and their low melee defense is really a hindrance. A lot of infantry can just run away from them. They kind of have the giant problem. Even though they have decent weapon strength, they have staying power. Yeah, they're not that good. Yeah, I don't know if I even can put them over harpies, unfortunately. But yeah, they're really close, so this is fine. So Charybdis, another unit that's really similar to Hydra. It has all of its weaknesses, but none of its strength. It doesn't have regen. The speed is slow. It has anti-large, but yeah, if you can't get in to your target, then it doesn't matter. The leadership reduction ability is awesome, but as I said, with low speed you usually don't get to your target fast enough. So yeah, I'm gonna put them here. If they were faster, I don't know. If they were cheaper, they might see, but overall I don't think in Darker Froster they can shine. The breath that I've seen a really good suggestion that Hydras could have had the ability to shoot not fireballs, but something like salamanders, standing behind your army and start shooting their fire breaths instead of having the breath attack. That would have been something awesome. They could have stayed back, shoot their arrows, and if your opponent has to deal with him, he can go into melee. So I don't know, that might be something that differentiate it from Charybdis and make it better. And overall Charybdis, the problem, as I said, is that it's slow, and it performs really good if your opponent leaves his single entity monsters in fight with it, but there are some monsters that can beat it also, but it is cheap, so yeah, but it is bad. Dragons, another bad unit, and yeah, we're gonna do the 3 category thing again. Dragons are weak in the current meta. That's one of the problems. There are, compared to other factions, there are stronger dragon with same cost compared to black dragon. Like moon dragons are a good yeah, they're good comparing. It is a good unit to compare to this one. The moon dragon has higher leadership, so if you leave them to fight each other without any outside help, the moon dragon wins because black dragon breaks faster. The breath attack on moon dragon is awesome. It's laser accurate. It does really good against single entities, and even more against single entity monsters. It has the support to use its breath. The net is great. The increase to fire damage is great that Dark Elves High Elves have access to. And what else? Yeah, the High Elves have access to healing. If High Elves have access to healing, if Dark Elves had that, maybe a lot of these units would be more useful. A lot of them would move higher in their own tier or go a tier above. But overall, I'm not happy how they work. They're kind of weak, they're kind of expensive, and you don't have enough support for them. So yeah, they're in a bad spot. I'm gonna put them here. So onto the range monsters. Medusa, another awesome unit, which will go into worst. They have a lot of problems. I've done analyzing video on Medusas, and I think I explained their problem really well. I'm gonna leave the link to that video on top right of this one. But yeah, if you want to know what makes them bad overall, is that first of all their range attack is that has bugs and glitches. It cannot be used over units. That's one of the worst things that can happen for your range unit, that it can shoot over your infantry. So that means you have to use them as skirmish or move them over after your front line to start I don't know, screaming at opponent's infantry flanks. But she doesn't have a good speed. I think it's 50 or it might be a little bit higher, but around 50 or 60, lower than 60 for sure. And the turn rate is really slow, so you can't just move her and start shooting stuff. Its range attack is really weak against large units. It's really good against tightly packed infantry. Even the loose formation infantry don't get bothered by this unit. The melee stats is okay, but units like manticores and similar units can beat them, because yeah, that's that's just sad. But yeah, that's the overall thing with Medusas. And they also get stun lock. I'm not sure after the latest patch if they don't get stun locked by other large units. I mean, in that test, I remember that Bastiladon or Stegedon, the smaller one, used to just bully Medusa and just stun lock her, and yeah, she used to just drop down on the ground and couldn't attack back. So yeah, D tier worst unit. There's always something better that you can pick. Bolt thrower, I like these things. It really has some places in some important matchups. I think I would put them in a mid tier. They have some weaknesses, but overall they can shoot their anti-large. They can go into the spray mode for anti-infantry. Even though it's kind of weak, the spray mode is in my opinion is weak. But against Tomb Kings you need this thing again because of their Casket of Souls, the Ushapti. These guys can trade upwards against them. Against dinos it's not that bad. So yeah, they're B tier. They're nothing special, but I would put them over these guys for sure. Yeah, that's these guys are all interchangeable, I think. So yeah, mid tier is fine. And yeah, the warp, not warp, what's the name of the thing? The Bloodrack Shrine. I think this is one of the best things that Dark Elves have. Unfortunately, they can only bring one. It's kind of expensive, but a lot of weaknesses of Medusa is covered with this machine, whatever it is, war machine. It can shoot over infantry. That's a really important part. It can shoot while moving and while in melee. It used to have a bug. I'm not sure if it's fixed or not, but units in contact with the War Shrine did get hit by the Medusa's missile attack, but they didn't take any damage. I'm not sure if that fixed or not. It is slow, but it has anti-infantry. It has poison in melee. The Witch Elves on the steps of the Cauldron, they can poison units, which is awesome. The buffs and debuff is just great. In many matchups it can do good stuff. So I'm gonna put it in B tier, but we don't see it that often because the range attack is usually good against infantry, and infantry is not a weak part of the Dark Elf army. So mid in the mid B tier is fine, I think. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, the range just tears it apart. Maybe it needs some buff to its physical resistance aura and missile resistance. Maybe increase the magic and missile resistance by 5% and increase the physical resistance to 10 instead of 6. I don't know why it had 6, but that way we might see some uses. Otherwise there are units that I think have priority over this one. But overall I really like this thing. So now we're done with the base units. Let's just jump into the Regiment of Renown. I'm gonna put the Helebroni over the Dread Spears because their stats are better. Their cost is better than the chevroned up Dread Spear. They have charge defense against large. I think it's the only unit in Dark Elf roster that has that. It has poison. I'm not sure about its place in the Dark Elf army. I mean, you usually want to swarming your opponent with your chaff. So I don't know, but it is good because red speeds are good. So yeah, putting it here, but it has all the weaknesses that these guys have. So yeah, mid A tier is fine for them. Sisters of Singing Doom, another awesome unit. I like these guys, these gals. I'm gonna put them here. I don't think they go into good tier. I mean, the terror is great. They have even higher melee stats, which is crazy. They're just infantry blenders, but you don't just pay for that. You pay a lot for the rampage ability. So higher B tier, lower A tier, maybe. Yeah, they just get wrecked by range units and higher tier infantry that can kill them, and the other thing. So yeah, I think higher B tier is fine. They don't go into A tier. I'm sure you see a lot of these units, but you don't usually see Sisters of Singing Doom. Their stats is great, but there are some terror options, cheaper terror options in Dark Elf roster. So yeah, best B tier so far. Another unit is the best in class for sure. The thing I talked about regarding the blackguards does include these guys. Overall in the meta, the high tier infantry is not good. Even these guys, they have a lot of utility beside their anti-infantry abilities, but yeah, they're slow. They don't have any range protection. They don't have any shields. They don't have sword master's ability to block arrows. But they win. I think they win against all the infantry, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they lose to a Crimson Blackguard. Oh my God, Black Orc Regiment of Renown. The Crimson whatever, those guys. I think they can beat them, but I'm not sure about that either. I think these guys win with Murderous Mastery active. So I'm even though they're the best in class, I can't put them over A. Yeah, God, this is so bad putting them behind. This feels so bad. Yeah, I think they're lower A tier, even though they're best in class. Chosen are better in my opinion because they have more HP, but they can win this matchup. I think, I'm not sure, they might lose, but the Guardian aura is fine, especially for foot lords, heroes and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in A tier. They're decent enough, but I don't know, they cost so much. There are so many counters to them. If there were lesser counters, they would have been higher for sure. So here is fine. Even just making it to A tier, these guys deserve an applaud. So yeah, a good job. The Bolt Fins, I think they're not that great. I don't see them a lot. Their higher range is fine. What else do they get? Higher stats probably, but the cost increase, I don't know. I would prefer to bring a unit of regular dark shards with another unit instead of bringing them. How much should they cost? I don't remember. Yeah, they're a bit better than their regular kind, but the price, yeah, I don't think I've seen them a lot. I might use them a bit, but for now they higher B tier. Slanish's Harvesters, another really good A tier unit. I don't think they're S tier. They have received a lot of nerfs. They used to cost 1200 gold, as much as the other the Warplug. Oh my God, what's wrong with my mind? The Warlocks. Let me see. Yeah, Doomfire Warlocks. But now they cost 250 more, which is fair. The Soul Sealer is great. They have higher stats. which is really needed on these guys. They're still squishy, but they perform fine, so they're A tier. I'm not sure about putting them over these two, but I think that's fine. This is a good place for them. Yeah. These guys, the Regiment of Renown, Dread one, the Cold One Dread Knights. I'm not sure. Knights of the Ebon Claw. They're not bad. They see more play than their regular counterparts. They're a bit expensive, but I don't think I can put them over B. I mean, I prefer Sisters over them. Kinda, I don't know. Yeah, I think here is fine. The problem with these guys is that they have the weaknesses of the Cold One Dread Knights. After the changes to Rampage, it doesn't matter that they don't have any. I mean, Rampage is not a problem in most situations. 90% of the time, you don't even mind it, in my opinion, on Cold One Knights and Cold One Dread Knights. But the Murderous Mastery doesn't matter that much, I don't think. The leadership is fine, but I think that's it. So, yeah, C tier, maybe higher. I mean, yeah, this is fine. I would prefer them over Harpies in most situations. So, yeah, congratulations. He moves up a tier, but in a lower tier for sure. They still have a lot of weaknesses. With healing, it would go up, but right now he's here for sure. Even I might be kind of generous, but that's fine. So these guys, Raven Heralds, Regiment of Renown, Dark Riders, they have some uses, but I don't see them. I don't see them a lot. This is fine. I think they're bad, and there are some reasons for that. They're fast, that's good, but their range is too low. Their melee stats is low as well. I mean, the Dark Riders have 40. These guys, like the Dark Rider repeater crossbows, have 20. They have less models. They have weakness to a lot of range abilities. Fireball kills them. The Spirit Leech kills models. So yeah, unfortunately they're not that good, and I don't think it's just the range thing is the only thing you can do to help them. Maybe increase HP and the range of this unit might help them, but overall they're niche unit. They have some uses against factions with weak air units and air support. So against Norska, Tomb King, and maybe Greenskins, they're okay, but I don't think they're too accurate. Overall, yeah, bad unit, unfortunately. Ravagers of Rakarth. Yeah, if the Scourge Runners are good, these guys are a bit better. That's all I can say. They could have been much better if their AoE slow was stronger, but with the latest nerf, and I don't think the poison matters that much. It is good, but not that good. Yeah, I think here is fine. They're a bit more expensive, so. The Harpy Regiment of Renown, they're good, but not that by that much. Here's fine, maybe. No, just a bit better. They can do everything Harpies can do a bit better, but the speed weakness is there as well. Yeah, they're less squishy, so that makes them better, but that's about it. So yeah, in my opinion, lower B. Chill of Santar, I think this guy has the highest upgrade. It might. Let's see. The cold, what's the name of the ability? Cold Snap? It's not Cold Snap. Frostbite. Yeah, Frostbite is decent. So that's that. It has better leadership, and better melee defense. That makes him really better than Hydra because it can stay in fights better. The healings are there. The breath is kind of different. I think here maybe even the best beat here, I'm not sure. I would prefer them over these guys, kind of. I think this is fine. Yeah, he's higher beat here. The problems are there. The slow is great, but because he himself is slow, it doesn't matter in most cases. The breath is fine. The leadership and melee defense are the most important part that upgrades Hydra. So yeah, you don't go up it here, unfortunately. Not the best. So the Siren of the Red Ruin, where would I put this guy? Yeah, she's bad. Unfortunately, the AoE ability is not that good. She still can shoot over the infantry. She doesn't bring anything special over the regular Medusa. So yeah, this is a good place. So this is for all the infantry. I named this thing the Dark Elf units tier list, but we have some lords and heroes. I don't know, should I do that? Should I put them in? Maybe in later videos, huh? Because yeah, it's just weird putting them with the infantry. I mean, with morality value over Dark Riders for sure. Every lord is, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna do that in another video, in another shorter video. This one already is an hour. I think this is a fine tier list. I hope my bias doesn't change the facts and truth of these guys. I think this is decent. We have a decent amount of good units. Just one S tier in my opinion. A lot of okay units, some bad units, but some really bad ones. So yeah, I think this is fine. I'm gonna do the lords in another video. I don't want to put lords and heroes besides the units. It just doesn't look good to me. So yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do tell me. I enjoy making these kinds of video, listing the tier of the units. I made this tier maker Dark Elf unit list myself. Maybe you can find it if you search for it, and yeah, show me your results. I have a Discord server. We can talk, chat about it. If you have any comments, if I missed anything, please do say so in the comment of this video. What else? And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. For sure I did. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me and my channel grow. And this Discord server, I said already. Did we miss anything? Probably not. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever you are. And yeah, catch y'all later. Bye.